Good morning, church family. Today, as we continue on our readings through the book of Luke, we'll be in Luke chapter 22, starting in verse 7. It reads, "Then came the day of the unleavened bread, on which the Passover lamb had to be sacrificed. Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, 'Go and make preparations for us to eat the Passover.' 'Where do you want us to prepare for it?' they asked. He replied, 'As you enter the city, a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters, and say to the owner of the house, "The teacher asks, 'Where is the guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large room upstairs, all furnished. Make preparations there." They left and found things just as Jesus had told them, so they prepared the Passover. When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles reclined at the table, and he said to them, "I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God." After taking the cup, he gave thanks and said, "Take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink again from the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes." And he took the bread, and he gave thanks, and he broke it, and he gave it to them, saying, "This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. But the hand of him who is going to betray me is with mine at the table. And the Son of Man will go as it has been decreed. But woe to the man that betrays him." They began to question among themselves which of them it might be who would do this. A dispute also arose among them as to which of them was considered to be the greatest. Jesus said to them, "The kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who is at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who is at the table? But I am among you as one who serves. You are those who have stood by me in my trials, and I confer on you a kingdom, but just as my Father conferred one on me, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat. But I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers." But he replied, "Lord, I am ready to go with you to prison and to death." And Jesus answered, "I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me." Then Jesus asked them, "When I sent you without purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything?" "Nothing," they answered. And he said to them, "But now, if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. It is written that you are numbered with the transgressors, and I tell you that this must be fulfilled in me. Yes, what is written about me is reaching its fulfillment." And the disciple said, "See, Lord, here are 2 swords. That's enough," he replied. You know, as I read this, the part that sticks out to me at the very beginning is the fact that Jesus already had a plan in place. You know, throughout the scriptures, I think that's the struggling point for the disciples, especially in regards to Jesus's proclamations about his suffering and his death. That they didn't understand how that fit into the plan as they saw it unfolding. But Jesus already had a plan. You see this at the very beginning as Peter and John are instructed to go and to get a place set up for the Passover feast. And they said, "Where should we go? What should we do? What preparations need to be made?" And Jesus lines it out to the detail. They would come across the man, follow that man home. As they follow that man home, then ask the owner of the home this, and he would have a room, and not just a room, but it would be fully furnished and ready to go. I'm reminded of that in our own life. Jesus promises to us that he has already made a plan for our lives, that he's made a plan for our lives that is for his glory and for our good. And that we so often get wrapped up because of our limited sight that in some way, shape, or form, if we run askew or aside to that plan, then in some way we will thwart the plans of God. But Jesus reminds us that his plans are the plan. It's not a plan B. It's not a possibility. It's not a hopefully maybe. No, God has a plan for our life. And whether we are walking in obedience with him or not, God's plan doesn't change. His plan is not foiled. But that God desires for us to trust his plan. And as we trust in his plan, as we look towards what he is doing and the good that he is bringing about and the glory that he is receiving, we will walk through his plan with eyes open and hearts ready to receive. As opposed to when we so often make our own plans, we still walk in accordance with God's plan, just frustrated when it doesn't match up with ours. So I wonder today, just as the disciples gathering around the table, wondering who is it that's going to betray, who is it that's going to do this, who is the greatest? Where's our relationship with God? What's our trust look like? Are we trusting the plan that God has already set forth? And are we walking in obedience with the steps that he's taken, even when it's opposite the way our culture says, even when it is the one who serves rather than the one who is sitting at the table that is called the greatest? Are we willing to walk in obedience with God's plan and allow our eyes to be open? Because no matter what, we're walking God's plan. Just what would our perspective be as we take each step? Maybe for you today, this is just an eye-opening to, hey, I've been in a valley and I'm reminded that God brought me to this valley. And so I'm looking forward to how he's going to pull me through this valley. If that's you and we can encourage, please comment in the section below. I'd love to pray with you. I look forward to continue on our study in the book of Luke tomorrow as we continue in Luke chapter 22.